1003, the Food Pantry Assistance Grant Program, followed by SB 20B003, Money for Energy Utility Bill Payment Assistance, followed by Senate Bill 20B002, Housing and Direct COVID Emergency Assistance. These are incredibly important bipartisan bills that we have many of our legislative champions on the line. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. I especially want to acknowledge how legislators in Colorado came together around meeting the need. I hope that that is a inspiration to our national legislators to do the same. We know that we need it here in Colorado. We're doing what we can with what we have. And we are trying to help folks get through a very difficult time. The global pandemic isn't just affecting healthcare, it's affecting people's livelihoods. And over the summer, the legislature passed legislation to help Coloradans who needed assistance with housing and utility bills and other critical needs. Some of that was expiring, some of the federal aid is expiring. And today I'm proud that we're taking the step of putting needed resources behind critical programs that Coloradans rely on to keep the lights on and the heat on in winter, to have enough food to feed their families. And while we know that as a state, we alone can't do enough to help get everybody through, we can help those most in need and send a powerful bipartisan message to Washington to ask our national legislature to step up. With that, I want to turn it over to our Lieutenant Governor, Diane Primavera, for a few words, and then we'll go to the bills and their sponsors. Lieutenant Governor.
Well, thank you, Governor. It's great to see you as always. Glad you're healthy. And I just want to thank the legislators who worked so hard to pass this legislation that the governor will sign today on behalf of Coloradoans. I know how hard the legislators worked during session, and this was a whirlwind session, and so I appreciate your extra efforts on behalf of everybody. As we know, COVID-19 has been a stark reminder that we need to continue to make our systems more equitable. We know that the pandemic has not affected all Coloradoans equally. Black people, Indigenous people, people of color, low-income people, and people with pre-existing conditions have been disproportionately impacted by the virus. So I'm proud to join the governor and all of you here today to demonstrate that we will do what it takes to rectify these disparities by supporting equitable approaches to provide those most in need with resources to stay healthy. And as the director of the Office of Saving People Money on Healthcare, I've always believed that all roads lead to health, and we must acknowledge that having warm and stable housing and food on the table is key to maintaining health for Coloradoans and our communities. This legislation provides key resources to help Coloradoans stay safe, healthy, and warm during this difficult winter. So thank you all again, and now I'll turn it back to the governor to sign the bills.
The head of the Department of Local Affairs and Department of Health. The first bill we're going to sign, and I want to thank Representative Lisa Cutter, who is on with us, and Representative Bockenfeld, and Senator Story, and Senator Heisey. I think some of them are with us, and we'll give them a chance to say a few words. This bill is about food pantry assistance. This is about those most in need. It appropriates $5 million to help Colorado families have the food they need for food banks, for food pantries. We know there's increased demand. This will all go out by the end of February. The money will. It makes it easier to go out to some of the larger banks, and food delivery is now included because we know how for some of our most vulnerable, we don't really want them going out. If it's an option, it can be brought to them. And it makes makes it more practical in terms of what food can be purchased under this. So look, at a time when 1 in 3 Coloradans don't know where their next meal, or worried about where their next meal is coming from, and we're proud to celebrate the initial $500,000 in the program, which provided 320,000 pounds of food, 315,000 meals. Here we go with Christmas and New Year's just around the corner. We want to make sure that Coloradans have healthy meals. And I want to thank the sponsors, and I'll turn it over to Representative Cutter.
Thank you so much, Governor Polis and Lieutenant Governor Primavera, for the lovely comments. I was so happy to sponsor this bill. This is why we're here, to do good things for the people of Colorado and help when people need help. And my deepest respect and thanks to you for calling this session and enabling us to provide the help that people need. In one of the most prosperous nations in the world, it's just unacceptable and unbelievable to me that people still go hungry, and they really, really do. And unfortunately, there's a lot of shame around this, and there should not be. Everyone needs help. And during this time of the pandemic, it's clear that there are many, many people that need help. Everyone needs help sometimes. And it's clear during the pandemic that there's many people that need help and need a little support to get through this. So because of this $5 million in aid, we were able to allocate. Food will make its way to every corner of Colorado, to people that need a little help, need a hand up right now, and hopefully help through ease the burden through the next several months, which could be difficult. So thank you again, and I hope you and the first gentleman remain healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Cutter. And I want to thank Representative Bockenfeld. I don't believe Representative Bockenfeld is with us. Senator Story.
Thank you so much, Governor Polis. We appreciate the opportunity to have met in special session to actually take advantage of utilizing some additional revenue that we did not anticipate. And thank you, Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, for also joining us and your support in our endeavor. This food pantry bill was just so very important. As was mentioned, this was an initiative that started with the bill back during the regular 2020 session. But since March of 2020, the state of Colorado has been dealing with the health and economic impacts of COVID-19 and the public health crisis. And it was really important that we passed this food pantry assistance grant program back then that is administered through the Colorado Department of Human Services. There was so much opportunity in this bill to provide more relief to people through the food pantries and food banks, and also to provide and create new market opportunities for Colorado agriculture products as well. So we worked really hard to expand this and extend the provisions of the Food Pantry Assistance Grant Program so that we could meet greater needs, because pre-pandemic, we had 1 in 10 families that were or 1 in 10 people that were food insecure. And now we are at 1 in 3, which is just absolutely astronomical. And we just can't afford to allow people in Colorado to, be hungry and not have just their basic needs met during this really, really challenging time. So I am delighted and honored to have the opportunity to be a part of this bill and carry it in the Senate. The $5 million will provide much relief, and we know it's not enough, but certainly will provide a bridge going forward to what we hope will be additional federal relief coming soon. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Story, and thanks for highlighting not just the money, which is needed, but the improvements to the program and how it gets out. So thanks for highlighting that. I want to thank Senator Heisey, important part of that bipartisan work. I don't believe he's with us, but we do have 2 of the advocates who also worked hard with the legislators on the improvements to this program. Ashley Whelan from Hunger Free Colorado, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much, Governor, and thank you so much for calling this special session. Coloradans need COVID-19 relief, and I'm proud to live in a state where our leadership is taking action. Hunger Free Colorado does quarterly surveys of Coloradans about their access to food, and we have seen massive food insecurity. We are facing rates 3 times the average pre-COVID. 45% of families with children report being food insecure. This $5 million will help immensely as federal aid ends. Currently, Colorado receives around $6 million a month in food resources from the federal government. That's stopping. Without the help that you're providing, emergency food providers will be handling this continuing need and growth as other benefits are ending. Our food pantries and our food banks have done amazing work over the last 10 months. They are serving thousands of Coloradans. Their client numbers have increased from 2 to 10 times their normal numbers. Many of these new families have never visited food pantries before this pandemic. This bill will support them and it will help our local economies. It was created to connect our local food pantries to our local producers, and this funding will continue those relationships. Thank you again to all of you Colorado leaders for acting in this unprecedented time. We hope our federal leaders will soon follow.
Thank you, Ashley. And we're joined by Dwayne Garul as well. And I want to thank Dwayne for joining us from Small Town Project. Thanks, Dwayne.
Thank you, Governor, and thanks to our state legislators for coming back in this special session, and especially Representatives Lisa Cutter and Rod Bockenfeld and Senators Tammy Story and Dennis Heisey for sponsoring this bill. Through the ongoing pandemic, the surging number of people depending on food banks and pantries continues to swell. In Colorado, 150,000 jobs have been lost, 262,000 people have tested positive for and been quarantined for COVID-19, and people across the state are truly struggling to provide food for their families. In Rocky Ford and rural southeast Colorado region, we have seen the emergency need for nutritious food increase month over month. Grassroots organizations like ours are doing what we can to efficiently meet that need as restrictions tighten, as the need for safety precautions increase, and as costs continue to rise. In doing this, we have worked together to co-create new models of local food procurement, food rescue programs, and safely distributing food to our communities. As we look forward into 2021, organizations like Small Town Project will continue to build infrastructure for our food systems that connect our local producers, emergency food providers, and the people of Colorado. This critical relief package will allow food pantries and food banks across the state to continue to support our community's need for access to nutritious food. This is how we all help each other out and respond in times of crisis like these. Again, I want to say thank you, Governor Polis, and thank you to all the sponsors for supporting the efforts of food pantries and food banks across the state, and for bringing this much needed relief with House Bill 1003. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is how we sign it here. Hopefully people can see it. And I'm going to sign it to make it official. And it's now officially the law, and it's the food banks, the people that rely on them. What an important thing to make sure that people don't go hungry this winter. So thank the legislature for their work. The next bill, also important. Can you imagine your light, your electricity, your heating going out in the middle of a cold winter? Thanks to Senator Fields and Senator Crowder, Representative Duran and Representative Landgraf, many Coloradans won't have to worry about that, with money now receiving $5 billion for Colorado Energy Office Low-Income Energy Assistance Fund. It's administered with the partner Energy Outreach Colorado. It supports the payment of bills for low-income customers, that especially those impacted by COVID-19, to help keep the lights and the heat on. And for Coloradans who are struggling to pay their utility bills, I encourage you to reach out to your utility company, set up a payment plan. Utilities across the state want to make sure that we have access to reliable energy, and this assistance will help. Many of you people who've lost their job are eligible for assistance from the State Low Energy Assistance Program or Energy Outreach Colorado. If you are worried about meeting your electricity or heating bills, you can call Heat Help at 866-432-8435 or go to energyoutreach.org to learn more. I don't believe that Senator Fields is with us. Senator Crowder with us. Would like to say a few words about this bill. Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Governor and Lieutenant Governor Primavera. I think it's a good bill, this 1003. I think we utilize, this bill in conjunction with LEAP, and I think it'll go a long ways to help people. I would say that while I have you on the phone, if we could actually order more than 46,000 doses of vaccine, I think I'd like to see 4.5 million come into the state. I think the sooner we can get through this, get people vaccinated and get back to work, I think the better off for everybody. But
Yeah,
again,
we've ordered more, Larry. Don't worry. That's just what they're telling us the first shipment's going to be. They're giving them out pro rata based on population in this initial draft, and they cut back the number that every state's getting a little bit a few days ago. But yes, there's no shortage of us asking. We want two doses, which this requires two for every person in Colorado. So absolutely.
good. Well, I hope they're going by state by alphabetical order, but I think Colorado should be the first to get all of them. But anyway,
The other way that we recommended to them, Larry, was start highest to lowest state. Just start with the highest elevation and then work their way to the lower ones.
There you go. Hey, well, again, thanks for the opportunity to be involved in this bill. I think it's important for especially rural Colorado, and again, it was an honor to be a part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Representative Duran. I see you're on here, Monica.
Yes, I'm on.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks, Governor Polis and Lieutenant Governor Primavera. And thanks for this special session. There was so much we needed to get done at this time, and the opportunity to pull us all together to do it, I'm so grateful for. Really, really excited and happy about this bill. There's a lot of Coloradans that were choosing between, rent, groceries, and paying their utilities. And those are some pretty tough decisions during this pandemic, anytime, but especially during a pandemic. So being able to have this bill that doesn't just help those in the urban areas, but it does in our rural areas, whether you use gas, propane, firewood, or pellets, you're going to be able to access the help that you need across the entire state of Colorado, which is extremely important. And that's what I was so excited about with this. I want to thank Energy Outreach Colorado for all the work they did and all the other supporters and stakeholders that came together. It's a bipartisan bill. I loved working on this with Representative Landgraf, who is just, to work with and just kind of pulling everyone together. So really excited. We will provide the help and services that they need to keep their lights on, to keep their heat going while we're trying to get through this pandemic. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Duran. We're joined by Representative Lois Landgraf as well. Lois?
Thank you very much. I agree with everybody who has thanked you and the Lieutenant Governor for calling this special session. I think it was critical to the people in Colorado. When I think of children going without heat in winter, it's beyond heartbreaking. So I was very thankful to Representative Duran for reaching out to me. It was a pleasure working with her. And my only suggestion on the elevation with the vaccinations would be that they also start with the highest counties, starting with Pikes Peak and working out. So I'll add that to Larry Crowder's suggestion.
Thank you. And we all are so excited by the imminent arrival of the vaccine in our state, and really in the next week or so, we're expecting obviously healthcare workers and then some of our most vulnerable Coloradans. And finally, then not immediately, but as people get vaccinated and end to the pandemic, we're just so grateful for the wonders of modern science, the hard work of the FDA and the Operation Warp Speed to get this to us in record time. And we'll look forward to it beginning to protect some Coloradans very shortly. In the meantime, we need to really double down on our efforts to stay safe, avoid socializing with others outside of our household, wearing masks whenever we're in public, and keeping a distance. I'm ready to sign the bill here. Here we go, to help keep people's light and heat on in winter. And it's now official. Congratulations. We have one more bill that we're going to be signing here today. This is a housing and direct COVID emergency assistance bill. It's a sizable bill. Rick Garcia is with us from Department of Local Affairs. This bill provides $54 million for emergency housing assistance for individuals and households who've had financial hardship from this pandemic. It also provides $1 million to the Eviction Legal Defense Fund, $5 million for direct assistance programs for folks who aren't eligible for other programs. Stable housing is really the basis of having your life be stable for yourself and your family. Department of Local Affairs was able to launch 2 programs using CARES Act funds, the Emergency Housing Assistance Program and Property Owner Preservation Program, with funds that were used to provide rental assistance, mortgage assistance, guidance. This bill will help provide an additional $54 million in relief so people can stay in their homes. And then the money for the eviction legal defense and the direct assistance program. It also includes an amendment that could help our state extended benefits program reach more Coloradans. We're working with our federal partners on that, but I want to thank Representative Kipp, Senator Bennett's office for bringing that to our attention, and really the quick work of CDLE to develop language for that. And we look forward to working with the U.S. Department of Labor in that regard. So with that, and I want to thank Senator Holbert as well for his work on that issue. And I'll turn it over to Senator Julie Gonzalez. Senator.
Thank you so much, Governor. I'm glad to see you looking well, and I hope that the First Gentleman is also recuperating as best as he can. And, our thoughts are with everyone who's navigating the impacts of the pandemic, whether we're talking about health, whether we're talking about economic well-being, whether we're talking about housing stability. I was proud to carry Senate Bill 20-B-002, the housing bill, in a bipartisan way, responding to the needs of Coloradans. And we did a lot in this bill, and thank you for walking through exactly all that it entails. But we know that for nearly 450,000 Coloradans are at risk of eviction by the end of 2020. And we know that the federal protections will expire. We know that so many Coloradans are on the edge. And this was our chance, our opportunity to say, here's what we can do. Here's how we can respond. When we know that 1 in 4 Coloradans is at risk of eviction due to the pandemic, when we know that people are running out of unemployment insurance options, and hopefully, given the fix that we included in the bill, we'll be able to stretch some of those dollars if we can, get Congress to act. And yet, we have to do our part to keep Coloradans housed, and so the policy is one piece. And I'm really excited to have been able to do this in a bipartisan way. And I'm also really proud of the fact that Colorado is sending a clear message by also including direct cash assistance to folks regardless of their status, to folks who were otherwise excluded from pandemic relief, right? To those undocumented folks, we are also saying through SB 2, we see you and we value you, and we also know that you will be a part of this economic recovery. And so to my colleagues in the House who carried this bill, Representative Exum and Representative Tipper, I want to thank them both. We've got a lot more work to do come January, but this is a tremendous step in the right direction. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks. And with that, we'll go to Representative Exum, who Julie just mentioned, along with Representative Tipper is with us well. Representative Exum.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and thank you, Senator Gonzalez. I won't rehash over what's already been said, and thanks, Governor and Senator Gonzalez, for going over the details of the bill. I'll just simply say this money will get out the door quickly because there's existing programs that are in place. Contracts are already in place with nonprofits to make sure that folks that need the rental assistance can access it very soon. And also, I want to mention too that landlords have access to applying for these grants that are working, trying to keep tenants in their house. And we just want to make sure we don't leave anybody behind. So thank you again, Governor and Lieutenant Governor, for your support, and thank you again for calling this special session. And I appreciate all the bipartisan support in every single bill that was passed. So thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know if Representative Tipper is with us. Is she with us? If not, Representative Kathy Kipp, who really helped on the specifically the work with Senator Bennett on the unemployment piece. Kathy Kipp.
Thank you so much, Governor, and everyone. I really wanted to just take this opportunity to thank Senator Bennett's office. Charlie in Senator Bennett's office is amazing, and he really worked with us to try and find a solution for this. I want to thank the governor's team for really doing some excellent follow through, along with the Colorado Department of Labor and Energy, or Labor and Employment. Man, it's been a long day, sorry. And also the U.S. Department of Labor, who's worked with us to try and make sure that Coloradans do not fall off of their extended employment benefits. So thank you to everybody who had a part in hopefully being able to keep many thousands of Coloradans off, on their unemployment insurance, and millions of federal dollars coming into Colorado to boot. So just wanted to thank everybody who played a part in trying to make that happen.
Thank you. And so with that, I will sign the bill. Unless I'm missing somebody, I don't want to miss somebody. I think that's everybody, isn't it? Okay, let's get this done here. Here we go. It's now official. Congratulations, everybody. And thank you all for joining us and for the hard work of the legislature.